Seamus Heaney was born in 1939 and died at 74 in 2013. He was born into a Catholic farming family in Northern Ireland. They owned and operated a farm, and his father was a cattle dealer. Heaney's poetry often deals with nature or uses nature as a backdrop to or metaphor for issues concerning the human condition or society around him. For example, in Follower, Heaney tells a story of how he used to follow his father as he ploughed a field, stumbling behind him, being irritating. However, in the final stanza of the poem there is a volta, and the true intention of the poem is made clear. Here he talks about how times have changed, and the father in the poem, that for the preceding 5 verses had been described as patient, strong and expert, has now, having reached an old age, become a nuisance and follows the now adult son around in an irritating way, likely hinting at the ravages of old age and dementia and the damage that such conditions can cause to familial relationships. Similarly then, Storm on the Island uses a storm and the inhabitants of the island's preparation for this storm, or storms that have happened many times before, as a method to explore the society of island people he describes. The island remains nameless, but it is very likely that Heaney is talking about himself and the people of County Derry, Northern Ireland. A surface reading would suggest that he is literally describing the inhabitants of a coastal area of the island, or Northern Ireland's preparation for an upcoming storm. However, given the context of the poem, the following questions could be asked. Is Heaney talking about a meteorological storm, or is he talking about the fallout from the civil war raging in Northern Ireland at the time, known as the Troubles? If he is talking about the Troubles, and we understand the damage caused by the wind to be synonymous with the damage caused by bombings, shootings and other violence, what is he saying about those that are not directly involved in the conflict? We are prepared, we build our houses squat, juxtaposed with, you can listen to the thing you fear, forgetting that it pummels your house too. Does this line potentially critique the way human beings embrace negativity, wallow in scandal, or passively pick a side in a conflict, ignoring the fact that weapons do not discriminate and they can and do injure or kill people on all sides? Does the militaristic language used to describe the storm's actions also reflect the troubles that were raging at the time? The wind dives and strafes invisibly, much like bullets and other weapons of war. Also, whilst air could be described as empty or lacking in substance, we are bombarded by the empty air. Could this also be a reference to the way in which the IRA used surprise bomb attacks to damage property and convey their political message? For long periods of time, nothing happens. There is an emptiness, life goes on as normal, and then suddenly a bomb is unleashed, creating havoc and devastation. This poem could easily be compared to Wilfred Owen's Exposure, as both poems describe the weather in a weaponised way. In both instances, the weather attacks either soldiers in the trenches or civilian property. However, whilst it appears that the weather in Exposure is more effective at killing soldiers than the opposing army is, in Storm on the Island, the weather is used to represent the effective military campaign that opposing sides were waging in Northern Ireland during the Troubles and its impact on civilians.